Call to order this meeting of the Craven County Commissioners, regular session, Monday, April 7th, 2025. Would you please, Madam Clerk, do the roll call?
Commissioner Hunt? Here. Commissioner Mark? Commissioner Mitchell?
Here.
Commissioner Smith?
Here.
Commissioner Howard?
Here.
Vice Chairman Jones?
Here.
Chairman Bucher?
Here. If you would, please rise, and we're going to hear a prayer from the county attorney, Mr. Grady, and then please stay standing so we can do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Eternal God, the giver of every good and perfect gift, we thank you for spring in Craven County. We are grateful for the bright flowers and the refreshing warm weather. Open our eyes to the beauty you have created. Thank you for the balance of labor and rest, workday and Sabbath. May you guide all who work here to a balance between productive labor and much needed rest. Help us remember that all who are weary and heavy laden can come to you and find rest for their souls. Your yoke is easy and your burden is light. As seasons change, we are comforted by the truth that you are the unchangeable one. We pray in your mighty name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome you all here tonight for our commissioners meeting, and we would ask, if you have not done so already, please make sure your cell phones are on silent so you don't disrupt the meeting. Our first item on our agenda is to approve the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Hunt?
Yes.
Commissioner Mark?
Yes.
Commissioner Mitchell?
Yes.
Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
Commissioner Howard?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Jones?
Yes.
Chairman Bucher?
Yes. Item number 1 is the petition of citizens, and this is for items that are on the agenda tonight. And do we have anyone today?
No, sir, Mr. Chairman. No one signed up.
We have no one for petition of citizens for agenda items. So the second item on the agenda is the consent agenda. Consent agenda is the minutes of March 17th, 2025 regular session, tax releases and refunds, health child facility, additional state funding, budget amendment, health adult primary care, additional state funding, budget amendment. For the sheriff, a donation check, budget amendment, a second donation check from the sheriff, for the sheriff, budget amendment, and a proclamation tonight for Line Worker Appreciation Day 2025. Can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Chairman, if I could just interject, if we could, I know that just to ask that we pull 2H,
Yes.
and then you're going to put it as.
Okay, thank you. 2H on the consent agenda, we're going to pull that and we're going to make it 2I, and that'll come next. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Well, I amend my second.
Amended.
Okay. Motion and amendment and the second were amended, so if you could go ahead and call the roll.
Commissioner Hunt?
Yes.
Commissioner Mark?
Yes.
Commissioner Mitchell?
Yes.
Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
Commissioner Howard?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Jones?
Yes.
Chairman Bucher?
Yes. Item 2I is the Awareness Month in Craven County, recognizing World Autism Day. Madam Clerk, would you read that proclamation, please?
Sure. Whereas Craven County recognizes the dedicated women of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, the illustrious Iota Sigma Zeta chapter, as they highlight for the Craven County community. Autism spectrum disorder, the fastest growing developmental disability in the United States, affecting 1 in 36 children, is an urgent public health crisis that demands a national response. And Whereas Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated is dedicated as a premier organization that provides noteworthy contributions in education, research, and funding for all persons who are impacted by the autism spectrum disorder. And whereas while there is currently no identified cause or cure for autism, Zeta is devoted to promoting solutions across the spectrum and throughout the lifespan for the needs of individuals with autism and their families. And whereas, in light of the growing impact of autism spectrum disorder and the need for greater awareness, Zeta's vision is to improve the lives of all people affected by autism spectrum disorder through championing autism awareness, education, advocacy, and funding. Zeta implements the extraordinary power of SHE worldwide through social, health, and economic justice programs. And whereas the Iota Sigma Zeta chapter has educators, social workers, medical professionals, and other service personnel that directly teach, support, and advocate for and uplift individuals with autism and their families. And whereas the Iota Sigma Zeta chapter proudly implements Light It Up Blue to embrace, support, and uplift the autism community. The Iota Sigma Zeta chapter is honored to participate in the annual observance of Autism Acceptance Month and World Autism Awareness Day, fostering greater awareness, understanding, and inclusion for individuals with autism. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Craven County Board of Commissioners, in conjunction with Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, the illustrious Iota Sigma Zeta chapter of New Bern, hereby recognizes April 2nd, 2025 as World Autism Day and recognizes April 2025 as Autism Awareness Month in Craven County to raise public awareness of autism spectrum disorder and the myriad of issues surrounding autism, as well as to increase knowledge of the programs that have been and are being developed to support autistic individuals and their families, adopted the 7th day of April 2025.
Mr. Chairman, I make that motion that the Board of Commissioners, pass the department.
Second the motion. I second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve that proclamation by the Board of Commissioners. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Hunt,
Yes.
Commissioner Mark, Commissioner Mitchell,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Howard,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Jones,
Yes.
Chairman Bucher. Chairman Bucher, yes.
Okay, would you like to do that?
Yes. If there's anyone present, I would like for them to stand if they're members of that sorority in the room at this time. I'd like to recognize them.
Thank you, ladies, for being here. Okay, under departmental matters, then number 3 item is under planning, Craven County Clean Sweep Super Sweeper Award, Pam Hawkins, Clean Sweep Coordinator.
Thank you, Chairman Booker and Commissioners. Tonight, the Clean Sweep Committee would like to present 2 very deserving individuals with the 2025 Super Sweeper Award. This award was established in the fall of 2023 to help grow our program, as well as, most importantly, recognize individuals and/or groups that go above and beyond in helping keep Craven County clean and free of litter. I do have some Clean Sweep Committee members here tonight and showing their support. If they just would stand really quick, we have a few committee members with us. Thank you, guys. Everybody on our committee works really hard for our program. So let me introduce you to our first 2025 recipient. The amount of time and effort that she devotes to educating citizens about the problems associated with litter is invaluable to Craven County. She has been a catalyst for an increasingly visible and effective Clean Sweep program over the years. She served as chairperson of the committee for over 10 years. dedicating her personal time to prepare for meetings and making sure sweep events were successful. She is a part of the two-person team that recognizes businesses throughout the county for keeping their property clean and free of litter. And she is a true leader to others. She leads by example. She spends many hours of her personal time picking up litter in and around the Broad Creek Road area and parts of Highway 55. And she doesn't do this alone. She has recruited her husband, and they take on the task together. She is truly an advocate for a litter-free Craven County, so much so that the Daughters of the American Revolution awarded her with their Conservation Award, which recognizes volunteers with distinguished conservation records and sustained efforts to improve the environment. The Clean Sweep Committee would like to present Mrs. Pat Sager with this 2025 Super Sweeper Award, and we thank you for your passion and your commitment. You're welcome. Okay, now for our second recipient. From his first day as director of Craven County Recreation and Parks, he established clean parks as the department's top priority. He has instilled a culture where every staff member, regardless of their role, was responsible for addressing litter. He himself spearheaded this effort, dedicating countless hours to cleaning ditch banks and tree lines throughout Craven County parks, collecting an astonishing variety of discarded items. This dedication was really apparent to park visitors, with the cleanliness of the parks consistently highlighted in their feedback. His commitment was genuine. He wasn't picking up trash for show. Even during visits to other parks, his habit of tidying up persisted. His reputation for pristine parks led to a unique retirement gift from county staff, a gold-plated trash stick. True to form, he put it to immediate use during a trip to Western North Carolina parks, continuing his personal mission against litter. So if you happen to be driving in Eastern North Carolina and spot a gold-plated trash stick in action, please stop and thank him for his extraordinary efforts. The Clean Sweep Committee would like to present Mr. Billy Wilkes with the 2025 Super Sweeper Award, and we also thank you for your passion. Thank you, commissioners.
Thank you, Pam. And to Billy and to Pat, our deepest thanks for what you do. I know I often, every day, drive from New Bern through Bridgeton, and I know that that's part of the area that you have you've worked to keep clean. And so it's very much appreciated, and we thank you. And I think we all get frustrated with litter, and I know the sheriff does everything he can do whenever he spots somebody and his deputy spots somebody littering, they try to grab them. Unfortunately, that doesn't happen as often as I would like. So anyway, thank you again for what you do. We appreciate it. Item number 4, under departmental matters, and he's already at the podium. Mr. Merritt, just Jeff Merritt, welcome.
Thank you, Chairman, Commissioners, County Manager. Thank you for having me tonight. We bring before you a budget amendment related to our Child Welfare Department, asking for additional funds and related to the payment for services that we provide in that program in order to protect children and keep them safe. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer those.
Any questions for Mr. Merritt? I entertain a motion.
So moved. Second.
Madam Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Hunt,
Yes.
Commissioner Mark, Commissioner Mitchell, Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Howard,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Jones,
Yes.
Chairman Bucher.
Yes. That was easy.
Thank you, commissioners.
Okay, thank you.
Have a good night.
All right.
Okay. Item number 5, under water, requesting additional funds for the maintenance and repair of water system items. And Mr. Dale Booth. Dale, welcome.
Good evening, Commissioners. So we continue to see increases in materials and labor costs as we try to maintain and repair leaks in the system. It's difficult to predict year in, year out how many repairs we'll have to make. In addition to fixing leaks this year, we've also tried to be proactive in finding places where placing valves will help isolate instances where a leak may cause a major outage. And so we put additional valves in. That's incurred extra costs. We've also gone and replaced several faulty hydrants that are either hit by mowing companies or car accidents or whatever it may be. And so we've incurred costs there as well. In addition to the maintenance and repair costs increasing, we continue to grow here in Craven County. That's resulted in us having to take more samples for compliance with the state and federal regulation. So we've got a 25% increase in our monthly samples that we take every day. That's a bacteriological sample. We go around the county and we collect samples from sample points. We analyze that to ensure that the water's safe for drinking. That cost has also resulted in a deficiency in our chemical and lab line. So staff is asking that the board approve budget amendment in the amount of $100,000 to fund both the maintenance and repair of the water system line and the chemical and lab line for the remainder of the fiscal year.
Questions for Mr. Dale?
I don't. I will make a motion that we approve this budget amendment.
Second the motion.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any other questions or comments? I would just comment for the public's information, and that is that the people that are putting the internet systems in, and I won't name them, but we know who they are, seem to have a special skill in breaking our water lines.
It seems to be that way, yes, sir.
As
And
we-
it is, I think there's a combination there of they're under strict deadlines. They're subcontractors. They're not familiar with our area. We do our best to guide them, especially when they get into subdivisions. A lot of times, a line running down a main highway, a large line running down a main highway is pretty easy to navigate around. You get into some of these subdivisions, cul-de-sacs can be especially problematic because the lines don't typically follow the edge of the road. And so we do our best to mark them in there, but when you're talking about hitting a 2-inch water line with a probe rod to try to get, because a lot of those places don't have tracer wire in there. So we're, our water, a lot of places like telecom, they can hook up electricity and they can kind of take a wand. You see guys walking with the wand and they can tone out the line. We don't have that luxury because a lot of our lines were laid in the late 80s, early 90s, didn't have tracer wire back then. Everything we're putting in new has tracer wire, but a lot of the stuff that was done back in the 80s and 90s does not. So our crews have to go out and physically take a probe rod and go down until they tap the line. When they tap the line, then they mark it with blue paint. And so those 2-inch lines can be, you think about that's hard to hit. And so, we do our best, but yes, you're correct. They've had a propensity to strike lines here recently.
Well, it seems like in the last couple of years, they've been very active.
It's statewide. I'm with the Water Works Association, and it's statewide. Even large cities like Greenville, Fayetteville, they all having major issues with the contractors.
Question.
Yes, ma'am.
When they break a line, they have no responsibility of repairing it.
No, repairing. No, we do the repairing. But if it's their responsibility, they pay for it. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions or comments?
I just had a question. You said that cars and other accidents have been impacting hydrants. Shouldn't, if someone,
If it's an at-fault accident, we do typically file insurance with against that.
individual.
Yeah, if there's an insurance claim for them.
Maybe sometimes no one files.
But yeah, a lot of times what happens is in the middle of the night, I'll get a call from emergency services and there'll be a hydrant in the middle of the field and whoever hit it has driven off and gone down their way. And so,
Gotcha.
No.
yeah, unfortunately, yes, ma'am. It happens from time to time.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, any other questions? Madam Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Hunt,
Yes.
Commissioner Mark,
Yes.
Commissioner Mitchell,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Howard,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Jones,
Yes.
Chairman Bucher.
Yes.
Thank you all
Dale.
very much.
Item number 6, Commissioners, is appointments. You'll notice that under pending, the Craven Aging Planning Board, Craven County Clean Sweep Committee, Craven County Highway 70 Corridor Committee, Juvenile Crime Prevention Council, and Volunteer Agricultural District 1 and 6. Those are coming up in the future. For tonight, we have 3. The first one is Community Child Protection Team. Tricia Webb seeks reappointment. Do we have a,
Mr. Chairman, I will nominate Ms. Webb.
okay? Do I have any other nominations? Okay. Acclamation, she will be approved. The next one is Craven County Clean Sweep Committee. David Cox seeks reappointment. He's with the City of New Bern Solid Waste. Do we have any other recommendations? No others? He'll be approved by acclamation. Third one, New Bern Craven County Library Board. Karen Siegel seeks reappointment.
I'd like to
District
nominate
4.
Ms. Siegel for,
Okay, do we have any other nominations? Not so. Well, Ms. Siegel will be approved by acclamation. Upcoming also, Pam Hawkins is coming up for reappointment, and Juvenile Crime Prevention Council and the Voluntary Agriculture District Advisory Board. So make note of those for a future meeting.
Mr. Chair, under number A, under pending, the Craven Aging Planning Board, needing a representative, I have found a person. Can I identify her tonight or do I need to wait? Identify her tonight. And the person of Shirley Foster Guyon, and she from Colony Estate, and she is of age.
Okay.
She's more than of age. So I recommend that we add her to the Craven Aging Planning Board, please.
Okay,
Mr. Chairman, her meant today.
it did
We
come.
do have it on
Okay, so
record.
we haven't seen it yet, but it's here.
Yes.
Okay, good. All right. So do we have any other nominations for that Craven Aging Planning Board? Okay, then by acclamation, we will approve her. Thank you, Ms. Smith.
yes, thank you very much.
Okay, item number 7, County Attorney's Report. Brady.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, good evening. I have 3 items for your consideration this evening. All 3 involve county-owned surplus real estate that we acquired through the tax foreclosure process. The first property is 1110 Mechanic Street, located in the city of New Bern. We have a parcel ID number of 8014226. The initial bid amount is $6,000. The past due taxes and the original cost of foreclosure totaled $2,492.10. And the tax value of the property is $6,000. As is customary, the city of New Bern has already acted on this initial offer and given its approval. I would request the board do likewise.
Okay,
So moved?
have a motion, have a second?
Second?
Have a motion and a second. Initial offer to purchase real property, 1110 Mechanic Street, parcel 8014226. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Hunt,
Yes.
Commissioner Mark,
Yes.
Commissioner Mitchell,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Howard,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Jones,
Yes.
Chairman Bucher.
Yes.
Thank you. The second parcel is located at 1006 William Street, also in the city of New Bern, with a parcel ID number of 8014279. We've got a bid amount of $3,000 that was put out for the upset bid process. There were no upset bids, so $3,000 is the last and highest bid. We acquired the property originally in the tax foreclosure process with past due taxes and cost of foreclosure totaling $2,449.89. And the tax value on this property is $6,000. As with the previous parcel, the city has given its final approval, and I would request this board give its final approval as well.
Okay,
So moved.
have a motion? Second? Approval of conveyance after expiration of the upset bid period, parcel 8014279. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Hunt,
Yes.
Commissioner Mark,
Yes.
Commissioner Mitchell,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Howard,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Jones,
Yes.
Chairman Booker.
Yes. Okay, item C.
Yes, sir. The last parcel is located at 724 Oak Street, also within the city of New Bern, with a parcel ID number of 8007203. We had an initial bid of $3,000, and that became the high bid after the upset bid process. The original taxes and cost of foreclosure were $3,549.14, and the tax value on this parcel was also $6,000. The city has given its final approval, and I would recommend that this board do likewise.
Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
A motion and a second to approve the conveyance after expiration of the upset bid period, 724 Oak Street, City of New Bern, parcel 8007203. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Hunt,
Yes.
Commissioner Mark, Commissioner Mitchell, Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Howard, Vice Chairman Jones,
Yes.
Chairman Booker.
Yes,
Mr. Chairman, that concludes my report.
thank you.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it. Item number 8 is petition of citizens, general topics. We have some folks that want to come and speak tonight.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, we have 4 citizens who have signed up. The first citizen is Mr. Paul Hill.
Mr. Hill's been here before, but I'll just mention for the record so he knows, and the other 3 speakers, you have 3 minutes, after which you will be notified that your time is up.
In shot.
You're on, go.
My name is Paul Hill. I'm at 914 Crooked Creek here in Craven County. Okay, I had planned to actually have a weather event just to set this up with, fire and lightning and thunder and all the other things, but it looks like it's going to pass. Thank goodness.
Looks that way.
I am here to present today, what I present is strictly my viewpoint, okay? I only represent myself. I don't represent the school board. I don't represent anything else. I'm here just as an individual. Most of the problems that I'll be talking about today are things that have been discussed amongst us, and I think are well known. It's just, unfortunately, they're getting to be more pressing at this point in time. By the way, there's a data packet. I put together a data packet for each one of the commissioners and also the county manager, and it'll be available immediately after the meeting concerned. I'm not a native of North Carolina. I'm actually celebrating my 18th anniversary here in Craven County, though, and I spent a good bit of time. My son was born here in Rex Hospital in Raleigh, and my kids were primarily educated here in North Carolina. So even though I'm not a native, North Carolina is my home. I believe that we need a efficient and competitive public school system here in Craven County, and I am very much involved in trying to monitor and feedback to the school board things that they need to do. The educational material I'm providing as part of this package was prepared by a bunch of senior citizens who are also equally interested in the actual school system itself. And they also believe we must have a good public school system if we're going to have the leadership and the people here that can lead Craven County in the future. I'm here to request today that you'll provided as much assistance as possible to the school board at this point in time. As you probably know, the school board is in some level of a crossroad at this point in time. Of the 5 board members that are currently there, of the 7 board members, 5 of those are brand new and only been there a couple of months, and the only other ones have been there just 2 years. So the board itself is truly just trying to get itself established. The cabinet that runs the day-to-day operation, headed up by the superintendent, is of the 5 members that make that up, 4 of those are either have already either resigned or gone into retirement, and by June, 4 of the 5 members will be gone. So we're going to have a new school board, really, and the people that run the school system itself will be basically a new cast of characters. North Carolina statutes say that the superintendent will submit a budget by May the 1st. I'm going to suggest to you that's going to be a real challenge to them because of those members that are a part of the cabinet. The finance person is gone, and the superintendent is gone both also. So they're really going to be in an interesting and challenging situation. The board is trying to help out in that particular case, that's my understanding, based on public information. And once again, I'm sure they can use all the help they can get.
Okay. Yeah, your 3 minutes are up, Mr. Hunt.
Okay, sorry for that. Thank you very much for the opportunity to talk to you.
Thank you.
Next citizen is Mr. Joseph Twilly.
Good
Can you
evening.
give your name and address,
I'm
please?
sorry, Joseph Twilly, 3150 Drew Avenue. Good evening, Craven County Commissioners. I'm a proud parent of a special needs student in Craven County Schools. I come before you today to seek your support. It is understood that the Craven County Board of Education is asking for additional funding. Over the years, the cost to operate our schools has soared due to inflation, impacting everything from utilities to basic school supplies. Educating a child like my son, who has autism, requires significant services and support within our schools, which, while costly, is essential. With the current budget crisis facing Craven County schools, I am deeply concerned that my son may not receive the vital support and services needed for him to reach his full potential. I have closely followed the meetings and monitored the Craven County school workshops, and it is evident that the cuts are being made to both general and special education. We're at a point where we risk losing art teachers, assistant principals, and caregivers who provide crucial one-on-one support to most of vulnerable children. I have also learned that the Craven County Commissioners are managing a fund balance of over $65 million. I urge you to invest at least $5 million back into our community schools, empowering our students and nurturing their future. Thank you. And also, I did not know the proclamation to recognize World Autism Day, but I guess that's a fate for you. My son has autism. He goes to Creekside, and he's at risk of not receiving the education that he deserves. And he needs that education. So if you really want to recognize autism, you need to support our special needs teachers, special needs schools, and our special needs students at all costs. They need this money just as much as a general education student does. And ladies, thank you. Thank you all. So I got.
Thank you.
Next citizen is Ms. Jamisha Harris.
Good evening, Board. Jamisha Harris, 222 Monterey Circle, New Bern, North Carolina. Public education is the heartbeat of this community. It's where futures are built, where students are shaped, and where opportunity begins, regardless of income, zip code, or background. But Craven County has not increased local K-12 education funding in over a decade. Meanwhile, costs have risen, students have grown, and our schools have been asked to do more with less. Our classrooms are overcrowded, our teachers are exhausted and underpaid, and programs that support the whole child, arts, special education, mental health, are consistently stretched thin. This is not a school system mismanaging money. This is a county that has not prioritized public education in its budget. Commissioners, I'm here tonight to ask you respectfully but urgently to increase local funding in Craven County schools. Our students cannot wait another year. Our teachers cannot pour from an empty cup, and our families deserve a public school system that is fully supported and not barely surviving. You also need to use your voice beyond this room. Someone now serving in Raleigh sat on this very board for years. They know what our schools are facing. The connection should be used to push forward the ability to have a relationship to get more funding. It's not always what you know, it's who you know. You weren't elected just to manage what's left. You were elected to lead, and that includes advocating for what's right. Okay. I just want to make sure I have some time. Linda McMahon is from New Bern, North Carolina. You guys are all elected by the citizens, but you all have individual voices. So it is expected and should be an obligation that even though you represent here, you should be as a body or individually reaching out to the state to ask for more funding. $22 million ain't doing it. And it hasn't been doing it for the last 10 years. I'm not sure if you were privy to private school, that's awesome. But the majority of people, the majority in this country, they survive off public education. So it needs to be fully funded. And that is the obligation, the responsibility of this county to do that. So I hope that you guys can do that, especially because now of the shenanigans, we are now in a deficit of probably $4 or $5 million. And that doesn't fall on them, it falls on you. Thank you.
And the last citizen signed up is Miss Wendy Card.
Hi, good evening, board. Thank you for your time.
Your name and address, please.
My name is Wendy Card, and I live in the western area of New Bern. And I'm not going to give my address if that's okay with everybody. Thank you. I appreciate your time, and I want to start out by saying I appreciate all you all do. And I'm just trying to report what is actually happening, right? So I understand there was a meeting in February at Stanley White Recreation Center between the chairman of this board, the New Bern mayor, the housing authority, the Carolina East, which is the hospital authority, the redevelopment commission, county and city manager, but most of the board of aldermen was not invited, and there's members of this board that were not invited. And there was very important information that has been, it was said, because I was not there, I wasn't invited, but a couple members of the press were. So this is very disturbing. If we, as a citizenry, can't be an informed citizenry, and our leaders are not being transparent, then it's not a democracy. It's just my opinion, and I'm sorry if I sound frustrated, I am. Since then, federal agency, and I have reached out to the congressman, but he has not returned any of my calls. Since then, several federal agencies were directed to review programs, financial assistance, and other loan programs. It was said that the FEMA, the Farm Bill, and other things were discussed during this meeting. Who knows? I understand the county has allocated millions of dollars for the courthouse expansion project, which looks really good, but who's going to pay that bill? Is FEMA going to be disbanded? I mean, there's a lot of stuff floating around there, and there's people that are nervous about this. They're wondering if the taxpayer dollars are going to have to pay for this expansion. If that's not the case, just say it, you know, ease people's minds. I guess I just am asking for kind of a summary of what was said, and also was the FQHC, the health, community health program, is funding being affected with this frozen funding from FQHC, the Pharmacy 30B program, Medicare, FEMA, the Department of Agriculture, you know, please provide any kind of answers. I really appreciate all you do and would appreciate an update. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Thank you.
That's it, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Next item on the list is the county manager's report, item number 9.
Just to be brief tonight, after your last meeting, we had a great ribbon cutting at the new DSS office building. I think many of the citizens and commissioners attended. Well overdue project, well deserved for those hardworking folks out there. I have spoken with Mr. Merritt, who was here tonight, and the move has began transitioning into the second building there. It's going very smoothly, and they're very excited to be working in new space. Second thing, we are in the middle of the budget process. We will continue this week to meet with different departments throughout the county to talk about budget. We're excited about that. We will continue to work toward presenting you the budget at the second meeting in May. And I don't have that date with me, but it's the third Monday of May in the morning. We'll present the budget that day and look forward to doing that and working with the board. That's all I have, sir.
Good, thank you. Okay. Item number 10, Commissioner's report. Let's start with Commissioner Mark. Do you have a report, Commissioner Mark?
Bring up something that has come back to me, that one or two people on the Board of Education has said that the commissioners had paid for the social workers. We did not pay for social workers, but we did give the Board of Education some money last year. Believe it was $1,200,000 to go to teaching in the schools. And we in no way as commissioners have paid for social workers, but they decided to take the money out of the money that we gave them to pay for 5 social workers. The other thing I want to bring up is I don't know if people understand how the school system works in North Carolina. The school system is run by the state of North Carolina. The commissioners are responsible for building any new schools or any repair to present schools and to school buses. However, in the past, we have given a lot of money to the school board for different educational needs. This year, I will not give any money to the Board of Education unless they give us a plan of closing schools, building new schools over the next 10 or 15 years so that we're not in a dilemma. And if they want to see that happen, they got to start teaching our students in the schools instead of having the records that we're receiving. We have lower records than anybody, and it's got to stop. And the teachers have got to start teaching the right things to the students so we get our math and our reading test up there. Thank you very much.
Okay. Commissioner Howard, do you have anything for the board tonight?
Give me a second. I was adding something here.
Okay, Commissioner Mitchell, would you like to go and while he's looking that up?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. This is a different topic. Last week, I attended a Association of Defense Communities conference, national conference in the Washington, D.C. area. This is under my seat as a member of the North Carolina Military Affairs Commission. Allies for Cherry Point did attend, but I was not there as part of the Allies for Cherry Point delegation. And it was illuminating. We, as a community where the base is the basis of our local economy, there are clearly changes coming to the Department of Defense, whether it be consolidation, closing, realignment of facilities around the United States. There's no news yet in terms of how this is going to impact Cherry Point or Camp Lejeune, but it is going to be impacting military installations around the country, and we may not be exempt, or North Carolina may not be exempt. So the two topics at the conference were the welfare of the military family and consolidation of military bases. Those were the only two things that were discussed in any depth. So I would recommend that we all keep an eye out for what is going on and make sure that we stay connected with our congressional delegations. We all know there's fluff in any government organization. With it, when it comes down to impacting Cherry Point, we are talking about engineers, skilled tradesmen with it, and people in active duty or veterans. Those are the people that will impact on our local economy. So no news yet, but we need to be aware of what is going on.
Thank you. Mr. Howard, you ready?
Yeah, I had my top of my report in my Google Doc and it's just not moving. I'll just pass.
We'll come back to you.
Okay. That's an option.
I just would like to thank everyone for their public input tonight. Hopefully more residents will feel more comfortable to come and see us and give their input. It's much appreciated. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Mr. Smith.
And I really don't have anything. However, as a longtime educator and a supporter of public education, I would say this: it is important that we follow and support education. It's important also that we have our facts right when we speak publicly, because people believe sometimes what they hear, and sometimes when the information is incorrect, it causes more friction than it does good. So make sure that we have our facts right. If you're going to speak for education, follow it very closely. Right now, we all know that we're in a situation that none of us are happy about, but we all know that we are here to support the children in Craven County, and we will do that. I'm not the chair of the board, and I'm not the vice chair, but as a member of this board, I know that since I've been here, we have supported public schools, and I feel that we continue to do that. So know that, and believe that we will do the best that we can do.
Thank you.
It's up. Just a reminder, I have a town hall announcement, Havelock Community Engagement. It'll be at Liberty Church, Havelock, North Carolina. Sheriff Chip Hughes, Pastor Blake Lawson will be there. We're going to just cover local issues. Sheriff Hughes will provide updates on crime trends, safety initiatives, and how the Sheriff's Office is working to build trust and security across neighborhoods. Pastor Lawson will speak some too. We'll have a DOT representative there. There was an interest in that part of Havelock to get some updates on the Havelock bypass and other things. So that will be addressed. I'll kind of follow up with Ms. B as a longtime educator. And since I've been on this commission and everything that we've been asked for, including $4.2 million, I think, for technology updates recently, were approved without any amendments, including PD, MacBooks for all teachers, new iPads for all teachers, new iPads for all students, which is not necessarily a county responsibility, correct, Jack? We continue to do that anyway. The additional funds we were asked for last year, they were given, but in a different format. Maybe that was required. But as you look across the state, New Hanover County, for instance, last year was $100 million short on their board, as you have a trend of students leaving public schools for charter schools, for private schools, for other reasons. And as each student leaves, that's $8,000 that's gone. So you extrapolate that, 800 students in 2 years, you're looking at over $6 million. 3,000 students over 10 years, you're looking at $24 million. These numbers matter. These things impact our public schools. But then you have an essentially the same number of staff, the same building costs and all those things. So the commissioners have not only went out of our way, but our staff have went out of their way to engage with the Board of Education to try to come up with solutions. And we're going to continue to do that, because there's not a commissioner up here that wants to see our public schools fail. In fact, I would like to see more kids going back to our public schools. And those numbers increasing. But it's not happening right now. Carteret County schools, public schools are still the gold standard in Carteret County. So if you put a charter school there, you put private school, kids aren't fleeing out of those schools yet. We need to be the gold standard in Craven County. And I'm 100% behind that. And when we were asked for teacher raises, we increased them last year. We'll continue to support teachers. We'll continue to support students. And I've heard nothing but that from everybody sitting up here. End report.
Thank you. Vice Chair.
I have nothing, Mr. Chairman.
I just have one thing, and that is that Saturday I was invited to throw out the first pitch at the Little League Girls Softball League. I was excited to see that they have, and I did get it to the plate, by the way. They had 6-year-olds, 8-year-olds, 10-year-olds, and 12-year-olds, 4 different age groups. There were a total of 4, 8, 12, 16 teams. And it was exciting to see these kids in their uniforms out on the field playing ball rather than looking at an iPad. And so I would also comment that the park was immaculate. It was packed with people all the way from the front gate all the way to the back. This is our park in Craven County Park. So it was fun and it was exciting to see. This brings a lot of money to our county because a lot of tournaments are going to be held here and people are going to come from out of town to come and visit our county and to play ball. So fun to see, and it was an exciting time. If there are any other comments, we will call this meeting over. Who would like to make a motion?
I move to adjourn.
Okay, all in favor?
Second.
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned. Oh, excuse me. I didn't notice until just a second ago that one of our school board members, Darlene Gibbs, is in the back row. Darlene, welcome. And you got a big job ahead of you, and thank you for what you're doing.